Am I the asshole for asking my classmate if I can pray for her? Am I the asshole for stitching my boyfriend's toy with the wrong thread? Am I the asshole for telling my brother he's pathetic and doesn't deserve his girlfriend? All of this and more on The Deidre Show. It's Deidre. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to dress more sensibly on a walk? My girlfriend and I... Poo mode? What's poo mode? My girlfriend and I, both 30, go on this trail by the river sometimes. It's about an hour each way and most people are in casual or sporty clothes. The first few times we did it, she wore a maxi skirt and high heels, and I felt like it was really out of place. I told her after the first time that next time she should dress more sensibly. She claimed it was fine, but it is really out of place, and even if she won't admit it, she definitely struggles, particularly at the end of the trail where is not paved. Everyone looks at her, and she even gets a few comments, especially about the shoes, so I wonder if she does it for attention. We went again recently, and she showed up in the same outfit. Long skirt, heels clicking on the ground, makeup done like we were going to dinner instead of a walk. I felt embarrassed walking next to her because everyone else was in athletic clothes and she stood out. I reminded her that I had already asked her not to dress like that for this specific activity. She told me I was being controlling and that she can wear whatever she wants. I feel like she's deliberately ignoring what I said, but at the same time, I do not think it is unreasonable to expect her to fit the setting. Am I the asshole for saying something? Am I the asshole for saying something? 30 years old? Does she even like going for walks? That would be my first question, because it sounds like she's not really there for the walk. I would wonder what she actually gets out of struggling in high heels while walking on a trail. It could be for attention, just like Opie said. I don't know. That's a high price to pay for some attention, I'd say. I don't know. She told me I was being controlling and that she can wear technically. She can wear whatever she wants, but I don't think you're being controlling. I think you're being reasonable, and I think her reasons for wanting to wear high heels and a skirt while she's hiking probably have nothing to do with actually being efficient. And I get it, you're worried about her safety is what it seems like to me. I don't think it's controlling at all, it's concern. I think he has genuine concern for his little girlfriend here. But he also notes it was embarrassing to be walking next to her because she didn't look like she knew what she was doing. I'm with OP on this one. I would say not the asshole. But ask your girlfriend, does she really want to be going for walks like this? It doesn't sound like she's there for the right reasons. And of course, that's not for someone else to decide for her. But maybe you guys would be better off doing something else together, like going out to dinner. Perhaps in the future, it's something that can be re-explored as she matures. IDK. It depends on where her intentions are. Not the asshole, OP. You're not the asshole at all. Am I the asshole for stitching up my boyfriend's toy with the wrong thread? The title sounds stupid because it is. Yes, my boyfriend James, 24 male, are both grown as adults, and he has a stuffed toy turtle. He's weirdly attached to the stupid thing. He keeps it in his closet and occasionally takes it out to look at for a bit before putting it back. Oh, stop. You don't know what his connection to that toy is. It's slightly larger than the size of my hand. Gray and pretty unremarkable. To you, recently I've gotten a bit suspicious of the thing, which sounds stupid, but it does look like it's meant to hide something. And whenever he picks it up, he squeezes it a little as if to check the inside. About a week ago, I couldn't take the curiosity anymore and I took the thing out myself. There were stitches on the underside, and I took a little nail clipper and opened it. I just wanted to see what was inside. It ended up just being a pen. I stitched it back closed, of course, and he didn't notice. This morning, he took it out again, and this time, he noticed. Apparently, I used the wrong shade of gray. James was furious and called me quite a few names, including that I was the worst person to have ever existed, ever, and that he despised me. I reminded him that when I'd asked if I could touch it, he said I could do whatever as long as I put it back right. He said that obviously didn't extend to cutting it open, and I was a psycho. He hasn't been speaking to me since and is keeping the turtle with him, even though he's pretty embarrassed of it. Am I the asshole for stitching it with the wrong thread? No, you are not the asshole for stitching it with the wrong thread. You are the asshole for taking it apart in the first place. It was none of your business. It truly was none of your business. I get being curious about the toy. I would understand if you went and took it and looked at it and put it back, but you actually took it upon yourself to take the thing apart. That's not fair to him. That's something that obviously he really cared about. It could have been his mom's ashes in there. I don't know if his mom died, but it could have been something special like that. It could have been something meaningful that you could have destroyed upon opening the turtle. Without consideration. You are not the asshole for using the wrong thread. Let's be real. You know that. You're the asshole for having to restitch it back together in the first place. Am I the asshole for telling my wife her reaction to a waitress not taking a picture was over the top? I, 37 male, met my sister in commonly visited city a few weekends back. My wife, 37 female, came with me and my 2 kids, 8 female and 6 male. The restaurant was nice, and she asked the waitress to take all of us a picture, and she said, "That's not part of the job," and walked away. I offered to take the picture instead, but she wanted all of us to be in it, so whatever. When the bill came, she snatched that shit and made sure to put 0 tip over the picture. I would have tipped her cash, but my wife told... Okay, Translation. I would have tipped her cash, but my wife would have told the waitress to give it back. And I didn't want to embarrass her like that. Thank you for being considerate. Anyways, we were driving back to our hotel. I told her that I thought tipping 0 was a bit mean. I mean, me, personally, I would have just taken the picture. But I guess in the job description nowhere did it say, "Take pictures for customers." I also said her reaction was a bit over the top. She said that if she didn't want to do stuff like that, working at a tourist city wasn't for her. Before I could say something back, she put in her AirPods and straight up ignored me. Am I the asshole? Let's answer the specific question. Are you the asshole for telling her her reaction was over the top? No. Are you the asshole for expecting your wife to handle the situation a bit differently than that? No. Your wife was actually being embarrassing. I know you said you didn't want to embarrass someone else, but look at you. Your wife is embarrassing the crap out of you at a restaurant. I always feel bad for the other people in the group. I used to work at a restaurant, and I would feel so bad the couple of times that I've had this situation. I would feel so bad for everyone else sitting at that table when the one person at that table is being a complete jerk to the staff. None of them want that. Nobody... If you're a person who's eating in a restaurant with a group of people and you get angry over something and are vocal about it and make it known that you're not happy to the staff in a belligerent way, rest assured, everyone sitting at that table is embarrassed by you. It's silent because they don't agree with you. Tipping 0 was extremely uncalled for. Having said that, the waitress is also an asshole. She's not getting off so easily. I don't think she should have to do those things, but would it have killed you to just take the picture? If it were me, I would have taken the picture because I want my customers to have a good experience. And when the customer has a good experience, chances are they will tip accordingly. And I'm not saying do it for the tip. I am simply saying you are front of the house. You are representing this restaurant that people come to celebrate special occasions. I won't say that she can't reject the request to take a photo, but I will say it would be in your best interest as far as the face of the restaurant. I would say it's still within your range of responsibilities to take care of the customer. Perhaps in that manner, maybe. It's not written. Of course, you can say no, but maybe it's something to consider. Helping them to remember this night would be a positive experience for them when they look back at those photos and see this restaurant. Like, that's good for the restaurant. If you care about the restaurant, then you probably should have taken the photo. But I'm not your boss. I suppose you're well within your right to say no. But I wouldn't be surprised if your boss pulled you aside and gave you a little talking to. Am I the asshole for asking my classmate if I can pray for her? I, 18 male, am in college and I'm studying nursing. I'm in an anatomy and physiology class with this girl, 20. She used to be very talkative and nice to me, but recently she's changed her attitude around me. A few days ago, we had a group project. It was us and 2 other people. One of the other members was talking about a surgery she had on her ankle a few years ago and was showing her x-ray. The girl mentioned that she hurt her ankle a few years ago and it never healed. She said it gives her problems from time to time and asked for the girl's doctor she went to because apparently he's great. After class, she always goes to the library. I felt inclined to pray for her that day, but I always try to ask permission first. As you should. I asked her if I could pray for her, and she seemed hesitant about it. I asked her what she had to lose other than a few seconds. She ended up saying no, and we got into a little disagreement about religion. She kept saying she respects what I believe, but she doesn't believe it. I could tell she didn't mean it. I told her I know she had a bad experience with religion growing up, and she also has an aversion to religion due to her sexuality. So I try not some of her hurtful comments to heart. Well, the next class meeting, she wasn't really talking to anyone, which I found odd. After class, I went downstairs to the library to ask what was wrong, and one of the math tutors stopped me and told me that if I was coming into the library, I needed to study, read, or get out because apparently another tutor and student in the library reported that I was homophobic to her. I tried to defend myself, but she wasn't listening to me. I was not homophobic in the slightest. All I said was that I know how she was raised and her sexuality might make her feel like she can't have a relationship with God. I feel like I'm being targeted for my beliefs when all I was trying to do was be kind. I know this is a touchy subject for most people, so I didn't know who else to turn to other than strangers online. Am I the asshole? You want to know if you are the asshole for asking if you can pray for her. That did not make you an asshole. I think it made you an asshole to assume that you knew why she didn't want the prayer. You assumed that it was because of her sexuality. It had nothing to do with her sexuality. Regardless of what your beliefs are about prayer, and I have my own beliefs too, you don't get to decide why another person doesn't want the prayer. Personally, despite my love of prayer and my belief in prayer, I also think that people throw it around way too casually. Sometimes there's certain people you don't want praying for you, and hopefully I can break that down in a way that makes sense in under 2 minutes. Prayer to me is energy, and if I am aware of someone's energy and what their intentions are, I personally wouldn't want them to pray for me. Perhaps it's something like that, or it could simply be that classmate has her own beliefs and would like to keep that at the center of her life. You were 18, I don't know. I don't think it's wrong to pray for people, but I don't think you need to flex it, your religion and such. She went to the library to study. And you want to talk about religion, like just because you feel something very strongly does not give you the right to force it on someone else. She said no. So you're not the asshole for asking if you could pray for her, but you are the asshole for trying to force your prayer on her. And hopefully you respected her request. If she said she did not want the prayer, I don't think you have the right to go behind someone's back and put that energy on them. If they clearly said they do not consent to it, I don't think it's a good juju to go ahead and think you know better than that person knows for themselves and throw your energy into their mix. Remember when this was a spiritual channel? That's how this channel started out, if you don't remember, if you weren't here for that. Would I be the asshole if I informed someone with intellectual disabilities that they are disruptive? My church has another church story. My church has 2 different areas where we can sit in. One being the auditorium, the other being the lobby area. I generally sit in the lobby area, which has a generally understood to be more casual and allows for a little more noise. I typically sit there because I pay attention better with an activity to do, like coloring or knitting. I totally understand. I like to draw. Drawing helps me pay attention, actually. I would get in trouble in school for that. The issue: there is a mom and adult daughter who sit there, and they are pretty disruptive. They yell at each other from across the room, and the mother is always trying to rein in her daughter, but in a way that matches her energy. They clearly have intellectual disabilities, however, and do not understand social cues. While I do not know them personally, I do sit near them every week. Would I be the asshole if I informed them of their disruptiveness? I know I could just sit somewhere else, but that wouldn't help everyone else here. Is it important for them to know? Would it be better if it came from someone they know? Update: based on the comments already, sounds like They went ahead and updated based on the comments, so we're going to answer it first and then we'll read that paragraph. Don't look. Would you be the asshole for saying they're disruptive? No, I don't think you would be the asshole. It is a church. I get there's two different areas, and I get that area is a bit more casual, but that doesn't mean bust out a drum set and start drumming. And I understand they have intellectual disabilities. I think there's a polite way to approach that respects that, while respecting the fact that it is also a church. It doesn't sound like the yelling is involuntary. It sounds more like they're yelling at each other across the room. It didn't sound like that's something that they were not able to. No, I don't think... Would you be the asshole if you informed them? I don't think you would be the asshole if you approached it in a way that is respectful. Or perhaps if you went to a church staff member and explained the situation and see what they have to say. Perhaps it would be more appropriate coming from a church staff if they see that it applies to the situation and that it is something that can be toned down. I don't know to what degree these disabilities are affecting them. I would leave it up to the staff member to decide how to approach it, maybe, because they know what they intended that room for. And if it's literally intended for people to be louder, like if they have kids and such, then you are out of line for expecting it to be like the main church room where quiet would be a thing. Quiet would be necessary. Why don't you just go sit down there? You're only knitting or coloring. You just don't want people to see you not paying attention in church? Is that what it is? Because I think you would do absolutely fine in the main sanctuary. Update. Based on the few comments already, I accept I would be the asshole and will not say anything. It doesn't bother me at all, but I was primarily concerned for their acceptance in everyday society. Okay. Okay, now that you're saying that, yes, you would be the asshole. If that's what your real concern was, yes, you would be the asshole, because that is not even your job. You have no right to be concerned about their acceptance in everyday society. Honestly, I thought the sound was just bothering you. I see, however, that is unloving to not just accept them as who they are, worrying about the rest of hypothetical society, hurting them. I will not move elsewhere, as I am not annoyed and do not view them as less than. I just wasn't sure if it was important for them to understand. Get out of here. Yes, you already are the asshole. You didn't say that in your post before. Yes, you are the asshole. Not for informing them, but for simply thinking that you had any right to be concerned about how they are accepted socially despite their disabilities. Get out of here with that. Update 2. Oh, y'all, I get it. I'm the asshole even if I didn't actually do any. Yeah, thank you. I promised to do better, but nobody on here is going to believe me anyways, so I'm just going to step away from this post. I'm surprised you didn't delete it. You should. It's not too late. Am I the asshole for setting a boundary with my sister? I, 18 male, have a pretty close relationship with my older sister, 22 female, and her husband, 23 male. They're both cool people, and honestly, they're like my goals for a relationship most of the time. The only issue is they get super touchy with each other, even in front of other people. I'm personally really grossed out by the PDA and touchiness in public, and they both know that too, but sometimes they have issues with it. Yesterday, we hung out and got lunch together, and of course, the whole time, they were holding hands. Then, when they finished, my sister leaned her head against him. Then, when we walked outside, he literally kissed her forehead in front of me. It just felt so gross and disgusting to watch. I actually gagged in my mouth a little bit. Are you too? Then, even at home, he kissed her forehead more, or she leaned her head on his shoulder, and I just had enough of it, so I left. Later that day, I texted my sister trying to set a boundary, asking if they could keep the PDA and touching to a minimum while I was with them, since it makes me really uncomfortable to watch. She reacted to the message and basically ignored everything I said and asked what PDA. I mentioned the hand-holding and the cuddling and the kiss outside the restaurant. She acted confused and said it wasn't PDA to cuddle with her husband in her own house. I said when I'm there, it's definitely public, and it makes me feel like I have to chaperone them, or else they're gonna get handsy or something. She said I was being stupid, and that she wasn't going to not hold hands with her husband just to make me comfortable in front of them, right? So not only is she doing all of this, but she's ignoring my boundary now. I said, fine, I won't come over anymore, expecting her to realize she could lose our friendship over this. She sent a shrug emoji and said, then don't come over. Now I feel ignored on top of everything. I talked to my parents hoping they would talk to her or help. My dad agreed that it's weird to do stuff like that in public. But my mom says it isn't public since they're at home and I'm the guest there. Am I the asshole here? Yeah, your sister's 22 years old and her husband is 23. Her husband. They are married. They're allowed to do those things. And if it grosses you out, then maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with adults. Although if you were hanging out with kids, that would be kind of weird too. But if it bothers you that much, you don't have to look. You said it made you feel sick to watch them doing that, then don't watch. Cover your eyes. Pull up a game on your cell phone and play that. You don't have to observe how your sister and her husband interact, number one. And number two, it's none of your business if they want to hold hands and hug and kiss. I can tell you've never had a girlfriend. And I'm not trying to say that as a put down, but realistically, I can tell he's never had the experience of connecting with someone on that level because the stuff that's grossing him out is very basic stuff. A kiss on the forehead, holding hands. Holding hands is like basic relationship PDA. So I will say you're the asshole, but I will also take into consideration that you are also quite young and probably inexperienced. I think in a few years, once you have your experiences, you owe her an apology because WTF, bro. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he's pathetic and doesn't deserve his girlfriend? Real quick, I'm looking for an opinion and any advice on how I can help him. So basically, my brother's a terrible boyfriend, and he's been dating this girl, we'll call her Sarah, for about 2 years. They're about 18 now and met in college, UK. At the beginning, he refused to let her meet us because he told her lies about us, saying we treated him poorly despite these things not happening. Oh, he's one of those guys. Later in the relationship, me and my mom met Sarah and we all bonded quickly. She's a lovely person who tries her best to make sure everyone around her is happy, even at her own expense. She started staying at our house basically all the time, which let me and my mom see the dynamic between them. We quickly learned that all the bad things he said about her, controlling, possessive, rude, and argumentative, actually weren't true and were actually things he was doing. Recently, in the last 2 or 3 months, it's gotten really bad. He started lashing out at everyone. You know why? It's because now that they know the truth, he feels like everyone's against him, guaranteed. He treats my mom like shit, arguing with everything she says and refusing to help when she needs him to. He's rude to me, insisting I'm trying to turn Sarah against him because me and mom tell her he shouldn't treat her that way. And treating Sarah worse than before, which was already not good, as I said. This guy sounds like I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose, but this guy sounds like he has some narcissistic traits. Now, all of my family suffers from mental health issues. I and my mom have ASD, and he's on the pathway. What's pathway? We all have depression and suffer with motivating ourselves. But he refuses to do anything to even try and sort these issues out. His room is a mess. He has a rabbit and the room reeks because he refuses to clean it. Oh, that can get so messy, I know. I know rabbits in a room are very messy. He leaves food rubbish around and this causes him and Sarah to break out. And it impacts both of their health, but he doesn't care. His words, recently I hit a breaking point. I was tipsy, so I didn't approach it the best way, and I know that. But here's the convo. Paraphrasing a bit, I don't like how you're acting at the moment. Well, I don't care. It's my life and I can do what I want. But that isn't fair to the people around you. You're hurting yourself and others because you refuse to change. Well, it's not my fault that you guys can't stay out of my life. Well, you're not just impacting your life. You're making everyone in the house upset and stressed because you treat your girlfriend like shit. I don't care. Get out of my room. You're pathetic. You seem to think that everyone should just let you do whatever you want. But you're actively hurting people because you think you can to Sarah? Oh, to Sarah. Oh. You could and should do better. He's a dick. And frankly, you do too much for him. For the record, I'm gay, so it's not like I want to steal Sarah or anything. I didn't even know this was a brother. I thought it was a sister. I just don't think she should be suffering like this considering how much she defends him despite all this. TLDR, my brother is a terrible boyfriend, and I got tired of trying to help him all the time. And while tipsy, told him he was a pathetic idiot who doesn't deserve his girlfriend. You are not the asshole. No, I don't think you're the asshole at all. He is lucky that he actually had someone this early in the game, this early in his career, as a narcissistic trait-having person, stand up to him and tell him the truth. Whether or not it matters, that remains to be seen. But I think you actually saying that gives him a head start at possibly being able to approach these issues in therapy on his own. I feel bad for Sarah. I think Sarah should leave him. He started out the relationship with problems. It's clear because he was making up stuff about everyone in his life as well as Sarah to everyone else. He was triangulating, essentially. And one would wonder, why is it he felt the need to triangulate where there was no conflict? I don't see a reason for him to have the need to build conflict between those people other than to serve himself, which is essentially narcissistic. He wanted people to fuss over him. I gotta go. What did you think about these stories? Go ahead and hit like and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Yeah!